The year 2024 is drawn to a close. Normally, this is when we review what the year has been like for various sporting teams. Today, we look back at the year Indian football has had. It has not been the best of years, and the latest result, which happens to be the last international game for the Indian team, ended in a draw. Earlier this week, India managed a 1-1 draw against Malaysia in an international friendly. They were trailing by a goal till Rahul Bheke scored the equalizer. The scores remained 1-1 till the whistle, and with that draw ended a torrid year for Indian football. This is the first time in 10 years that India has remained winless in football in one whole year. India played, of course, 3 matches in January. They lost all 3 games to Australia, Uzbekistan and Syria. This was at the AFC Asian Cup. In March, there were the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, which is when things began to head south. India played 2 games against Afghanistan. They played out a goalless draw in the first and lost the second. June saw the remaining FIFA qualifiers against Qatar and Kuwait. India lost to Qatar and played out yet another draw against Kuwait. 2 matches in September, the Intercontinental Cup. They lost one of those to Mauritius and the other to Syria. 2 friendlies followed in October, which they drew with Vietnam, and then, of course, the latest some days ago against Malaysia, a draw. They failed to clinch wins against opponents lower ranked than them, like Afghanistan, Kuwait, Syria, and that also enraged football fans all over the country. There were angry reactions that kept pouring in. Also, remember, Indian fans ended up cheering Afghanistan that were India's opponents when they lost that game. That's how frustrated they were with India's performance through this year. So what really affected the Indian team this year? One, of course, Sunil Chhetri's retirement. It was bound to happen someday. They were all waiting for the inevitable end when it did. It signaled a shift in the momentum.
I never thought individually these are the many games that I played for the country, this is what I've done, good or bad. But now I did it. This last 1.5, 2 months, I did it. And it was very strange. I did it because probably I was going towards the decision that this next game is going to be my last.
And then, of course, came the massive fallout between AIFF, the Indian football governing body, and former coach now of the Indian men's football team, Igor Stimac. The matter between the former coach and the association ended up with a $400,000 compensation. There was a lot of fiery exchanges, some bad blood there, with the coach being sacked post a dismal FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign. What worked against him and was how defiant and confident he continued to be despite the results not really matching up to his promises.
I mean, the key point for me staying here is because we had executed tremendous work in the past 4.5 years. We started one very difficult process. We didn't lie to anyone. We were very honest, telling the truth, what needs to be done, how patient we need to be, how much harder work needs to be placed on the ground, off the pitch, on the pitch, how much we change the mindset of the players, how much we change their approach to their profession.
To be fair, there were some historic moments that Indian football enjoyed with Sunil Chhetri and Igor Stimac at the helm, like the SAF Championship title and a good solid run in 2023. But seems like that blinded him and prevented Stimac from creating opportunities with a team that was also evolving the next year. The new coach too has started off on shaky ground. Manolo Marquez is at the helm now. He knows the Indian setup a little too well, having been part of the ISL, the Indian Super League framework, but that's probably the only thing going in his favour. Somehow the Indian team fortunes have not turned around. Sandesh Jingan made a return after a 10-month injury layoff. That had little impact on the game. The other man under fire has been the other experienced component in the Indian ranks, goalkeeper Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. Though he's had his moments of brilliance, consistency has been a miss. With drastic changes at the top, captain and coach this year, India seemed to be taking a bit longer to find its rhythm again. And with a win not in sight yet, the pressure on Manolo Marquez is intensifying.